Welcome to Andy's Garage. I'm Andy Phillips. Today I'm going to show you how to remove ignition wires that are stuck on at the boot. A lot of times they can get stuck on this end here where the boot connects onto the spark plug itself, or sometimes on the other end where it connects to the ignition coil or onto the distributor cap. Those can get stuck on there. I'm going to show you how to remove that. So let's go ahead and get started. To complete this, the only items that you're going to need some penetrating oil that we're going to use to spray onto the boots where they're going into the shaft to kind of work in there to loosen things up. Then you're going to need a couple of these hose pliers here. I'd recommend a large and a medium. We'll use those to grab around the boot where it meets the spark plug on one end, and then the other one where it goes into the ignition coil, or depending on the vehicle, the distributor cap. Now, looking at a couple different vehicles, on this particular vehicle here, you have the spark plug ignition wire boot right here that connects in here, and that's where they can get stuck a lot of times. If these things have been on there for years and they weren't put on properly with any kind of grease, they can get seized on there and you'll have a hard time pulling those out. So that's what we're talking about here. And in this also particular vehicle here, which is an older vehicle, you have your distributor cap there where they connect there as well, and they can also get seized on at that end as well. Let's take a look at another car that has a different setup. Now on this vehicle here, which is an inline 4, it's a little bit of a different setup. You have your spark plug ignition cable here. Here's your boot. It kind of seals here, but as you lift it up, the shaft goes down. So a lot of times it can be seized down in there, so you would have to apply the penetrating oil down in that shaft and then grab it from here with the hose pliers to pull it. Then you have the connection here to the ignition coil pack. That's easy to get to on that one. Let's check out one more vehicle. This one here, which is a Chevy Trailblazer, these are a little more problematic. You have your spark plugs located all the way down there, and then you have your ignition coil pack up top. This is on the driver's side. You can see it down there as well. The boot that goes down there is very hard to get to. If you want to see how to actually replace the spark plugs and the ignition cables on a Chevy Trailblazer right here, I have a full video going into detail, all the issues you have to overcome to do it. You can check it out via the link above. But for this video here, this is another one here. This is a V8, so you can see how it's tucked in there, and that's where the hose pliers come in handy, because you can reach all the way down there to get a grip on the boot to pull that off. Depending how long your spark plugs and spark plug wires have been in, they could be seized on there, which is the case I'm running into here. Normally you should be able to just give a nice pull and get those off. These are seized on there. They're not budging. I've tried pulling all different ways. So what we're going to do, I'm going to apply just a little bit of some penetrating oil. We're going to spray it down in there. See if I can get a shot of it. You want to make sure it gets all the way in. Spray it all around down the shaft in there. And there it is. We're going to let it sink in, and then we're going to go ahead and take some hose pliers, give a nice tug on that, and that should remove it. Now keep in mind, we are replacing the cables, the spark plug cables, so that's not an issue. If you're trying to salvage them, unfortunately, you're probably going to damage them when you grab them with the pliers and pull them. Take our hose pliers here and grab it right around the base, right there. Get a good grip on it. Give it a good pull. Should come right out. You can hear it. There we go. Took it right out. Now that we've removed the boot from the spark plug, we need to remove the other end from the ignition coil pack, which goes up there. So what I'm going to do for that, I have another set of hose pliers. These here, which are a little bit smaller, so we can get a grip up in here. So I'm just going to go ahead and reach here, put it right around that, right the base. And once again, as I mentioned, we are replacing these, so I don't really care if they get damaged. So once there, just give a nice pull down. This one should come off a little bit easier. There we are, it's coming. And there we go. And that's it. Now we can remove that spark plug, put the new one in, and put in the new spark plug cables. Now, to prevent the boots from getting seized on with your new set of spark plug ignition wires, it's a good idea to always use the spark plug boot protector dielectric grease and just coat the inside of the boots, to that way you ensure that you don't have that issue happening again. Put a little bit of grease there on the inside. Just going to take a little Q-tip here and just smear it around on the inside. As mentioned, you don't want to be touching the lead down in there. You just want to put it on the rubber boot. And then on this side here, do the same thing. Be careful with the lead. And just kind of put it around in there. Okay, well that pretty much wraps up this video on how to remove ignition cables, or ignition wires as some people call them, if the boots are stuck. I hope this video was informative for you. I hope it helped you out. As mentioned earlier, this here, a lot of times when you're going to do this, you're going to wind up damaging the cables anyway. So make sure you have a set of replacement ones ready to go, because as you're pulling on these things and they're seized on there pretty good, you're most likely going to damage them. So that pretty much wraps this up. So I would appreciate it if you would please like the video, subscribe to this channel. As always, I appreciate all the support, and I'll see you next time.